Hello, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to the episode of the Monday Money Podcast, coming at you live every Monday at 6 p.m. I am your co-host Aaron, and just a quick little disclaimer before we start today's episode: nothing we say or talk about in this episode should be or can be taken as any form of financial advice. Make sure to always use your due diligence before taking any type of financial risk. Now, with that out of the way, what are we going to talk about today, Harm?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you also so much for tuning in today. Today, we're going to be talking about something we already all know about, to be fair, at this day and age, and that is blogging. So, let's start off real quick with the definition of a blog, right? A blog is a regularly updated website or web page, typically one run by an individual or a small group, that is written in an informal or conversational style. So, of course, we can just put this into display in a real quick way. We all know that there are these websites, right? Let's say you're looking for a cooking guide, etc. We usually go to the same websites because we're kind of familiar with them. At the bottom of every one of these pages, usually, will be a writer's name. So a blog is more of a personalized version of these kinds of things. So see it as like a personal conversation with someone, except you're doing it through a website instead of an, actual face-to-face talk. So, Aaron, I feel like I have to ask this because it leads kind of nicely into what we're talking about today.
Okay.
Have you looked at any blogs recently, by any chance?
Yeah, the last one that I pulled up was about pianos. Yes.
Okay, so was there anything special that you noticed about the writing style in the certain blog?
Well, it was like a well, like something you would call a typical block. So the first thing you always notice on these sites, well, the first thing that I noticed on the piano side, let's be more precise with this, um, was it's immediately started enlisting a lot of pianos. I had to scroll down a little bit for that
Mm-hmm.
because it had an introduction. It talked a bit about pianos, and then it just immediately got to the point. It just started enlisting all of these pianos, and this is a good one. Get this one. This one is the best. This one's the best for if you have a budget, and this and that. So yeah, it's kind of has its own style.
So that's like an interesting part you're bringing up right away. The types of pianos they listed, did they list them in like a sales kind of way, or was it more of like an informative way that they taught you about them?
It was it was more so an informative way, but it still tried to sell me something.
Yeah, that's quite understandable. So obviously, having a blog is nice and all, but at the end of the day, we're all gonna want to make money off the blog somehow.
Hmm.
So, well, obviously, one of the ways to do this through is a form of affiliate marketing, in a way of selling products through possibly their own links. Then, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
So, did you actually take a look at any of those links, or were you just scrolling through it?
Oh well, I mean, I tried to look at the price, and then I got scared. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I can
I,
understand that.
I tried to like look my way through all of those, mm, and it indeed got me to click onto these links. Definitely.
All right, yeah. So, obviously, like a blog can really put you onto this because it's like your favorite advertiser or your favorite influencer on Instagram or YouTube. If there's some advertise something, it can kind of be in the same vein as that,
Mm.
in the form of, well, I like the person and I kind of trust what they do. So, therefore, it may not be bad at all, but I'm going to be checking out on them. So, yeah, that actually brings us to the multivariants of blogging. So, have you ever thought about starting a blog, Errol?
No, I have not. Definitely no.
So, why is that?
I haven't really gotten much into it yet. I think. Um, I mean, I started. We both like started when we did our research on this topic as well. We probably both like started to figure it out what it kind of is. I think more so you than I did, but I mean, I now got like down to what it actually is. Mm, thinking about it now, it sounds good, but it sounds like it's something you will definitely have to be very consistent with in order to like actually profit from it.
Well, yeah, that is true. So, just like any form of YouTube channel, in my opinion, a blog can be very much, driven by your own personality.
Mhm.
But instead of, saying it to people like you could do in a YouTube video, it has to be a little more skilled than that, right? Because you have to actually put your words onto paper, which, well, you hope translates well, so to
Yeah.
say. So, do you actually know how you would get started in like a blogging business?
Well, first of all, I think there's not. I think there's not many components to it, other than you will actually have to start a website for the blog. Then I mean the main ways of getting all of the traffic, and no, you will have to split it here actually. So you will have to start to get actually a website, design it, or let it be designed or whatever, where you actually post your blog, and then you will have to get the second part would be you will have to get excuse me, you will actually have to get all the affiliate links or ads set up so you can profit from it, and then the next thing is just to start to generate traffic onto this website.
Yeah, well, exactly. Though, to be fair, I don't think affiliate links will be the only way that you'd advertise a blog.
Yeah.
So, let's say you're starting off, right? So, I'm going to start this blog on, let's say, cooking or something. There's a lot of cooking blogs out there, so obviously take a look at that. It's relatively saturated market, but let's just say I do so. So one of the first things I would obviously want to do is start a website. So most of the websites these days are made in WordPress, to my knowledge, which does have a degree of skill to it, I think. So there is luckily a lot of services as well, which facilitates startup blogs.
Mhm.
So these basically offer templates, etc. Basically, well, the whole 9 yards to at least get you started. Because at the end of the day, you are going to have to do everything yourself.
Mhm.
One of the fun things I think about when I think of blogging is that you can really derive a blog from a sort of passion, right? And that's what most people seem to do.
Oh
So
yes.
what I think is a part of the fun things about blogging, because of course there's going to be some costs, but the costs are very low to a lot of other things that you could do to earn some money. As well, obviously your website upkeep. So if you're going to start your own website fully, you may need a form of servers, because I'm not quite sure otherwise if it can handle the traffic by itself. Though it may be able to. But through third parties, of course, you could get this set up a lot easier.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So,
You should even like in the modern times you shouldn't really set up the website yourselves anymore. I think that's a bit outdated.
well,
And
yeah, unless you know how it works, of course.
unless you know how it works. But if you don't, actually just get a third party program somewhere.
So, yeah, so after you've, let's say, set up this website, right, it probably feels to me like, which, like I said, is the fun part of blogging, because you're doing it from a form of passion. It doesn't really feel, or it doesn't have to feel like you're doing it for any financial gain, and at the start at least. And we always say to ourselves, and we always give people this advice: if you put in work into something that you like doing, you're not really going to work, right? We've all heard it. You've probably heard it as well,
Yeah,
right?
work something you like, and then you're never gonna have to work
Yeah,
another day in
then
your
you
life.
yeah, then you
Yeah.
never have to work another day in your life. So that's the fun part about blogging, because if you're doing it about something you genuinely love and are genuinely interested in, it doesn't really have to be like work per se. Because for a big part of the startup, at least, blogging is very slow.
Mhm.
So you can accelerate this a lot by, let's say, putting money into Google AdSense and the whole 9 yards. But it really comes down to having the content there for people to look at. And
Mhm.
then, of course, setting up a lot of things like mailing services, for example. Well, because you've probably also, we've all been there, right? You get onto a website and the first thing you see is a little pop-up window that says, sign up for our newsletter.
Mhm.
Have you ever signed up for any newsletters?
No, I haven't.
You've never done that?
No,
Well,
no,
I've
I
done it a
don't.
lot.
Really?
Um, I've especially done it for either websites that I think are interesting, of course, but also for a lot of these, let's say, shopping websites online. If you shop a
Mhm.
little bit online, you're probably very familiar with this.
Mhm.
So when you shop online and you put your email address into one of these newsletter signups, you're going to be getting a lot of, well, let's say spam. I'll just call it spam for it, because
That's
there's obviously going to be offers in there, but a lot of it you will just have to throw out, right?
yeah, yeah. That's exactly the reason why I don't
So
sign up to this.
one of the fun things that they can persuade you with on those websites is they can give you a discount code.
Mhm.
So, for example, one of the most common ones for web shops, especially started ones that are starting out, would be like, let's say, sign up for our newsletter and get 10% discount on your next order, right?
Mhm.
So it's very simple. And me personally, I'd be very inclined to, if I already have found something that I like, to kind of think, I'll sign up for it for the discount. And that's exactly when they get you with it. So a newsletter in itself isn't predatory in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
It just kind of helps people remember that you're there. And I personally think that newsletter regulation should be something you take a lot of care in,
Mhm.
because you're sending out emails to people. So what you'd want to have is a good looking email, your website on the top,
Yeah.
and try to advertise what you're doing at that time. Which I personally think is in and of itself quite a skill,
Mhm.
because I think I would be terrible at it, to say the least. So if you do have a good newsletter, though, people are going to be more inclined to click back on your website for relevant information or things that they might like.
Mhm.
Because what you have to expect to be, or expect to do when you're putting on a blog, is there's really two ways you can go about it. You can go after people that are looking for information, which instantly makes you a lot more formal. Or
Mhm.
you can actually look for the people that are having the same passion as you. So that's probably also why I see so many cooking blogs these days.
But
So
the problem, but I think the problem with this whole passion thing is just that every time you do something you're passionate about as a form of work, even though it is kind of true that you will not have to work another day in your life if you do something you're passionate about, you do still have to do all of these things that are, let's say, that all these things that are like around your passion that are mandatory for running your passion, which is set up ads, um customer service. No, well, customer service in this case is not really, it's not really accurate, but
yeah,
you do know what I mean.
so
Just
yeah,
these small things.
well, I do get a lot of those things as well. But if I'm really passionate about something and I'm going to start a blog about it, I think I wouldn't actually look too much towards the advertising side of it.
Hmm?
Because, of course, it's going to be fun if people read it. But at the end of the day, informing people may not always be the reason you do it. If you're purely doing blogging for a monetary gain, you already need to come out of a pretty good field for that, I think. So
Hmm.
that's why a lot of people that are into journalism or write for the newspapers, etc., they would be awesome or just amazing at this straight away, right? Because it's right up
Hmm.
their alley. But for most people, most everyday Joes that start one of these blogs for a passion of theirs, will probably not have that.
Hmm.
But the fun thing about that is it can also, give a little bit of character.
So you're looking, right now at the whole blogging thing more so as a passion thing, not
Yeah,
not really not
because
really as a monetary thing.
I don't think the blog would be very. I don't think it would be very easy to get a blog going if you're purely doing it for the monetary value alone, especially
Hmm.
in the start. Because in the start, things are going to be very slow for you,
Hmm.
and there aren't probably not going to be a lot of people clicking. So, but if you want to evolve this at a little bit of a later time, so let's say you've blogged relatively consistently for 3 months, 6 months, 7 months. Of course, then you can kind of get into the advertisement perspective of it.
Hmm.
So, well, few of the main things here for especially blogs is if you're not already advertising your personality on the blog, you're already a little bit of a step behind. So
Hmm.
there's really two ways of going about this. It would either be very boldly putting your name on the top of the website, so
Hmm.
making it part of the actual website title, or of course, which is a little more off, if you're the only one running a blog, but putting your name at the bottom of every blog,
Hmm.
especially with your social media accounts with it. Because what these social media accounts let you do is get more or get more viewers there or
Hmm.
more followers on Instagram. More,
just more traffic in general.
yeah, you're just gonna be having a lot more traffic, and then you also start showing up on their Instagram feed. Some things people check a lot more nowadays than their actual emails,
Yeah.
and that's good. That's good for you. I mean, it's very good for you. And then after that, probably start looking into Google AdSense and the likes.
Hmm.
So there are actually a lot of ways of advertising a website. Some of these are, well, more popular than the others, of course. Do you know any of the ways that they advertise on blogs?
Well, I mean, you got affiliate marketing. Oh, no, actually, you're talking about just actual advertising, right? Not about capitalizing on your blog.
No. I do mean that, yeah. Just
Yeah,
like the financial side, how would you
yeah. Just
gain
just
finance from it?
just the financial side is looking very good in the form of just affiliate links, because if you're if you got a niche, for example, let's just say you're really into hunting and you got all of the hunting gear. You've got a blog post about 10 best headwear for hunting, or you gotta or you gotta blog. Yeah, there will be one blog post, and the next blog post would just be about um I don't know, hunting gloves, for example. Then you can advertise those and talk about those and like promote them, and then you make a list of like, I don't know, the 10 best headpieces, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and on those you just get affiliate links, and then you're good to go. Then you can hook me for then you can hook a person on that, or not hook, well, advertise it to your customer in this case, in a way that they will click on it, just like that happened to me in the piano example earlier, and then you will profit from that. Also, you have an own website, which means that you can run ads on them as well. That is like the next financial thing or phase to it. You can run ads for somebody or for companies, or from especially companies from your niche as well. And that's just how it goes on
Yeah,
blogs,
exactly.
at least.
So a lot of this would be like the sponsor related content, or
Hmm.
like you said, affiliate marketing. So there is a lot, and I mean a lot of ways you can go about actually doing and generating income off of this. So please break me down if I'm going off on a tangent here. So feel free to stop me at any moment, but I'll just go
Yeah,
off on it a little bit.
yeah,
So let's say I'm starting a very informal form of blog. So people are purely watching me for me, and it's a little bit of a personality driven thing, like
hmm
about a subject, like I've stated before, let's say cooking. So when I'm starting this cooking blog, there's a lot of ways you can go. First of all, if you're focusing a little bit of an older market, so older gentlemen, older women, so what you could then do is you could go for a little bit more of a bold version of advertising because they don't quite know what's going on. It's not annoying them as much, let's say that. So you could go into probably the most standard form of website advertising, in my opinion, which I'd consider banner advertising. We've all gone onto a web page, and there's these two big bars on the side of the screen running an advertisement, right? We've all seen it, we've all been there, and we've all gotten annoyed with it. But if you're focusing on a market that doesn't really seem to care about these, feel free to run them because you are literally just running them permanently, and you're not really putting in any work yourself. Well, except of course putting the banners there. So what we could otherwise go into is, like you said, affiliate marketing. And I think affiliate marketing would be the best or the most functional if we're doing it for very formal forms of educative, educative blogs.
hmm
So let's say I'm going into finance, right? And I am really shoveling things out there, like software for trading, crypto trading, bots for crypto trading, and all this kind of stuff. These programs oftentimes come with a form of affiliate marketing and an affiliate marketing link for you. So that'd be commission based then.
hmm
So then there's influencer marketing. And if you want to get into that, you're really going to need to push people towards your personality and towards your other social media accounts, where you can then follow up on influencer marketing.
hmm
One of the popular things a lot of especially food bloggers like to do in the past few years is, of course, start an own cookbook. Because if I'm already known for the things I cook and the blog I post, so people like reading what I make, why not translate that into a book? It makes perfect sense, right?
hmm
So there's a niche for that as well. So one of the more financial versions of this would be starting your own course. Because, well, everybody these days at least wants to be rich. So why not start a course and sell them their dreams, possibly?
Yeah.
One of the only downfalls I see in this is that if you make a course and it's not very good, right? You're not putting a lot of effort into it,
hmm
then there's not going to be any point, and people might get angry at you as opposed to that. Then there is, in fact, like you said, sponsored content, but I think sponsored content should be taken a little more in a different direction than actual affiliate marketing. So let's take for the hunting example, right? Instead of me putting affiliate links into certain ones of the products that I most highly advertise is actually getting a sponsor for it, which does mean you need to show that you have a lot of traffic and you need to be known a little better. But these sponsors will simply pay you up front to possibly make this list or just advertise the product in whatever way you see fit, and then try to build something around that.
hmm
So after that, of course, there's going to be the more typical ones. So that'd be like asking for donations from people. We've seen it on Wikipedia nowadays, right? Have you? You've
Yeah.
probably gone to Wikipedia.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a big top banner now that says, just donate $1 so we can actually keep this running. And that may work better for certain types of blogs. I won't get into those too much because I don't like talking about them, but there's a lot of them out there these days.
Hmm.
So if we've kind of listed those down, and we can look into the separate aspects of each one of these, it's going to be a bit of a deep dive. So I won't go too deep into everything. So just to list it off one more time, there's regular advertising with banners, affiliate marketing, influencer marketing. Of course, writing your own book is a good one for certain niches.
Hmm.
Of course, you could also, actually, I haven't gotten into that, offer premium content, which I think, once again, fits more into the finance side of things.
Definitely.
Then, of course, there's sponsored content and donations.
But when I just look at it right now from this perspective, you could see blogs more so as a tool. I don't think you can use blogs as a main way of generating income, because in the end this is kind of about finances right now, and we're looking obviously at it from the financial perspective as well. Um, and I don't see a good way, as far as I'm concerned, up until now, where you could do this as a main thing, just the blogging. I think you will have to diversify, or more so just building a brand, for example. Let's say you have a passion for cooking. You start your cooking blog, but you could definitely gain more and more traffic by also starting a cooking YouTube channel, a
Yeah.
cooking Instagram, TikTok, um, and just all these things. I don't think the blogging itself gets into the nitty gritty of it, and will gain the traffic by itself, because that is just, even though a blog is a website, which will be definitely more affinity. Nah, I don't know the word for that right now. Oh fuck, damn. Um, which would be more likely to get searched up, and more likely to get found on the internet through a search bar, rather than through, let's say, social media, for example, or YouTube. It is still better that you will have to either start building a brand, or at least just use some other form of promotion for your blog. But in
Well,
this but in this case I see the brand definitely thriving even better.
yeah, I mean, that is very fair. So, of course, if you're going to start a blog, you're already going to need a brand. So, in that way, it's kind of like running a small company, so to say, in the form of you really have to look at your brand as well and manage it off of that. Um, but yeah, as you probably say, it's a very hard thing to get started into. And a lot of these bloggers, they may already have a YouTube channel set up as well. So it is something very hard for us to understand nowadays, because when there wasn't YouTube and stuff, people were far more likely to get onto blogs, right? I mean, it's just the times were like that. But nowadays with YouTube, it seems like a way better thing to start anyway. But of course, if you're going to Google search something, right? So you're
Mhm.
pulling up your Mozilla Firefox or your Google Chrome, and you're Googling or asking a question, you're always going to be directed to a certain form of website. And if you really take a look at that, it's always going to be some of these bigger websites. So, yeah, blogs do make decent income, of course, once they are bigger. And that's also one of the things I think personally about blogging, is that you may need a form of cash investment or a cash injection to like
Mhm.
get it started in a way.
But I think, but that's most of the interesting part about blogs now, which doesn't it, it's not this is not going to build onto yours, but which is also, I think, a fair point that you have to add on to blogs. Blogging is not going anywhere. It's not going to go away or anything. It is very much needed in today's world. Or well, there is a demand for blogs, because for example, the a good because they have good uses. For example, it blogs really help you to decipher between a lot of products. They help you make a decision in most cases, or they can be just very helpful in general. That is just the whole thing of a blog, essentially, to just be helpful or informative about a thing. Um, in it doesn't even matter which way or form. So, for example, a good example that I've seen was that, or a good example is, for example, that you can do a blog where, or you can write a blog about something where you compare two products with each other
Yeah.
from the same category, and that will ultimately help you make the decision as a customer, or well, as just somebody that views the blog. And I think that is very, very good about blogs, in my opinion, that they aren't going anywhere. They're going to stay the way they are. And it is something that that you're typically very, very safe with for the future.
Yes, of course. That's one of the things I like about blogs so much is that if you're kind of decent, let's say, yeah, I'll just say decent at reading, you can easily get way more information out of a blog than out of a YouTube video, like we do
Hmm.
nowadays. It's very easy for us to ask a question, and instead of Googling it, we just like watch a tutorial on YouTube on how to do something. Well, there is, of course, like blogs. Blogs get way more to the point, in my opinion. If I want to know something really, really fast, I wouldn't look for a YouTube video. I would look for a blog instead,
Hmm.
because blogs have all these neat little things, which is called you can just skip parts of it and
Hmm.
not miss what you need to know.
Yeah.
So for informative blogs, that's one of the things I like. Well, you are very right about it that YouTube has largely taken the place of blogs. Especially cooking blogs are still very stable because they offer a form of handheld. Let's say, I am currently baking. All right. So we're
Yes.
baking a cake. I'm getting down to it. And, YouTube videos may either go a little too slow for your taste or they can go way too fast for your taste. While blogs make sure that you're always on your own pace in a way. Because
Yes.
it is
Yes.
only really limited by the amount of time you put into reading it. So that's one of the things I like about blogs personally. But of course, for every blog, there's going to be 10 YouTube channels explaining the same thing. So it's something you simply have to weigh the costs and benefits of. So I can already hear from the way you're saying it that I don't think you'd ever want to start a blog, right?
No, not really. Oh well, up until I would let's just say it this way. I would use a blog. I would use a blog, as I explained it earlier, as a tool, as an addition onto my brand, for example. That is something that is something where I would definitely see myself with a blog, but not necessarily as something I would do it. I would deal with myself and just with the blog itself, because yeah, as I explained, I see it more so as a tool. Mm, and if I would have to generate money, I would try to, oh oops, I would try to use it as a tool, but definitely not. But definitely not use as a main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can fully understand that. Of course,
How are you on that?
well, you kind of do hit the right spot with that. So if you're going to be a form of influence YouTuber, so somebody who films their lifestyle or anything with the likes, starting a blog may be good because
Hmm.
people want to read more about you, they want to get to know you better, and blogs may make for the perfect place for that, right?
Hmm.
Besides that, I do think there's a lot more other avenues because if you're already holding onto a YouTube channel, which is, let's say, relatively popular, you might just want to put all the information on there because it is going to get more clicks from more people. And of course, YouTube has a whole algorithm behind it, which kind of pushes the right things onto you.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I do kind of understand where you're getting from. I wouldn't be in a market for starting a blog either, unless I would be either very hyper specialized about something,
Hmm.
or there's something I'm extremely passionate about, something which is more niche, of course, and I just kind of want to share with a lot of people. Because I think that while blogging can be a financial thing, it should really be taken more as a personal experience thing, in my opinion.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I think with that out of the way, let's wrap things up.
Yep.
So let's say you do have a blog, right?
I do.
And it's
Let's say
actually starting
yes.
to gain traction.
Yes.
What would be your favorite kind of marketing to put on your website to, actually earn the revenue of it?
Probably the ads. No.
Well, what kind of ads?
Oh well. Ads that are tailored to the to the website, at least.
Yeah,
So yes, let's use the hunting example. You have you have a website about hunting, or well, you have a blog about hunting. So you would generally just try to use ads that are going to have to do something with hunting on there, because
Well,
they're
yeah.
probably going to do well. They're going to do better. You're gonna do. You're gonna gain some revenue out of those, definitely as well. And then the next thing will be just affiliate marketing, and you can just really. I
So
think by solving a problem with affiliate
what
marketing, I think you can get.
what makes you want to do affiliate marketing over something like sponsorship?
I think sponsorship is nice and all, but by solving a problem through the blog, I think you can drive the affiliate marketing even more forward. So the thing was, for example, with me, when I looked at those pianos on this one blog that just compared them, it were e pianos. I was looking for e pianos um, that I could put that I could just put into my room, because I don't really want to waste a lot of space on a piano, and I know there are like upright pianos as well. But I just had this little problem of I have neighbors, and I don't want to disturb them by just listening to somebody play piano very terribly for the first 3 days, and then just gradually starting to increase in the skill. But yeah, since I was looking for an e piano, this website had a lot of e pianos, and it just compared the cheap ones to the good ones. What do the cheap ones have over the good ones? What do the good ones have over the cheap ones, and everything? And by doing so, the block essentially solved the problem for me, which was deciding on what I want to actually buy. And even though I got scared off by the price and then didn't buy it in the end, and because I'm dealing with also like also another problem when I would buy an e piano,
Yeah.
it still solved this one problem for me of making the decision by just displaying me a lot of dense and very clear content on what to actually on and essentially even a little guide on what my preferences are, and like just and a little guide on like finding out what my preferences are on a piano, and then recommending me and tailoring a recommendation basically for me, so I can actually go ahead and buy something off of that decision. And all of these pianos then had an affiliate link to those, so that would make me so this the fact that a blog can help you solve a problem, and then in the end motivate me as a customer to buy something off of their blog because they just recommended me it through a link, is the reason why I would take that over sponsorship, for example. But
Yeah.
you can, it's in the end still take both. That is not the thing.
Well, yeah. I do have to agree with you with a certain degree. So I think that about really wraps things up. So in conclusion, blogs are a lot better than YouTube channels, if I do say so myself. Aaron may not agree, but I mean, who really cares? So, with that all being said, thank you all so very much for tuning into this episode of the Monday Money Podcast,
Thank
coming
you
at you
very
live
much.
every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Eastern Time, Central European Time. My apologies. So, well, with that being said, Aaron, let's get to the socials.
Of course, as always, you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you can join our Discord server. Everything will be linked down below as well. Thank you for listening in, guys.